Yeah, as long as Bitcoin has the reins of freedom to kind of like continue to operate as it does, and we don't have to wait around for whole new like frameworks, governmental frameworks to be established in order for institutional grade involvement.
Yeah,
you're right. That could prop up the whole market. Again, the SEC and other bodies will have to spend years to figure out how to, crack down on these utility being a negative, any kind of like marketing speech. Things like this.
Yeah, I feel like there's got to be some guideline.
But that's been happening. You know? Like that sounds like business as usual.
All the other thousands of cryptos, they've all like sold a token to a certain extent.
Yeah. And the SEC has had like a trickling presence throughout these whole times. The last 5 years, they just pop their heads up, make their presence known. It's like, don't do that.
Yeah.
Like you said, because out of that strategy of fear.
Yeah.
Right. And then I think their wrist slapping is starting to get a little more intense.
Yeah, they are. But the wrist slapping is like from the perspective of the United States, though, because we talked about EOS, they got their little slap on the wrist.
It was like 24 million slap on the wrist after a $4 billion ICO.
Yeah.
I was like, unbelievable. Like,
I remember when the ICO was happening, I was like, man, I guess I could buy some EOS tokens, because the ICO happened over an entire year, and you could buy unlocked tokens, per day.
So EOS should be like a case study for like how to market your project, because apparently they didn't use any of the wrong keywords.
Yeah.
They spent a year selling their tokens.
Yes.
And they said nothing within that year to trigger the SEC's like, hey man, you guys clearly were selling something that,
Well, I mean, okay, I guess the violation that EOS did was they sold tokens to Americans. They didn't have any KYC or anything like that. I think that was a violation.
Yeah.
That's why their slap was so small in comparison to like BlockFi lending.
Yeah.
They got $100 million hit from the SEC.
For what?
For doing lending.
Oh.
Yeah, so I don't know if I have it here. I'll look it up real quick.
Yeah, BlockFi today just filed their bankruptcy, I guess. So another one of these systemic trickle events.
Here it is. So this was, when's the date here? February 2022. It says BlockFi agrees to pay $100 million in penalties and pursue registration of its crypto lending product.
Whew.
And so, like you said, what is it? How many months is that? 8 months later?
Yeah.
9 months later, they file for bankruptcy after paying $100 million in penalties.
Yeah. That's a big chunk, dude.
I mean, obviously they're connected, right? You don't just pay $100 million and then 9 months later you go bankrupt as a complete coincidence.
No, but this is something kind of like you would expect this kind of outcome, I guess, from somebody who the SEC thinks violated something of significance. You would expect this kind of outcome, a penalty, a fee so severe.
Yeah, I mean.
And again, like sends fear out to other, entities in space. It's like, don't do this or else suffer the same fate.
Yeah.
Consequence, right? You're basically being marked as a bad actor by the United States, and you're going to get hit, to the point where you're Dunskies. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it definitely came at a horrible time. February, ever since then, the market's been doing nothing but crash. So
yeah.
That means lending is going down. So, I mean, they just bad timing.
Yeah.
That factors into.
Yeah. Making less revenue as a result of this.
Yeah.
Crypto's crashing. Yeah. It's just,
it's a nightmare.
Yeah. So